This is different from after the Umrah in case of Hajj Tamattu, because in that case the taqsir is preferable, the trimming of the hair is preferable. However, in all other cases, shaving of the head is preferable. Once a person does the Rami of Jamrat al-Aqaba and he does his slaughter is done and he shaves the head, then he makes the first exit from the ihram. This is called nafar al-awwal, first exit by which everything becomes halal except sexual relation with one's spouse. So he can change his clothes to normal clothing, he can put perfume on, they can trim their hair, clip their nail, everything which was from the mahdurat, prohibition of the ihram, now they become permissible. We are coming to a break now. Inshallah, we'll go to the rest after the break. Until then, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we start from where we left. So what I said, the last thing is that having done the Rami of Jamrat al-Aqaba, Nahar and Halaq, one makes the first exit from the ihram. This is the Nafar al-Ula, where everything becomes permissible. All the prohibitions of ihram are lifted now except the sexual relation between husband and wife. Two other points I want to mention here. One is concerning the slaughter, and the second is concerning the halaq, the shaving of the head, or in fact trimming of the hair, related to the women. Because one of my sisters reminded me, may Allah reward her, that one of the things which is seen at the time of Hajj, especially at the time of Umrah, that when the women, they finish the Umrah, then they take their hair out of their scarf and they do the cutting of the hair for each other, whilst they are among in the public place, after just in the Masjid al-Haram or in the Masa corridor. This is not permissible at all, because this is breaking the hijab which they observe, and this is more important than trimming the hair over there, cutting the hair. They can do that when they reach their hotel or wherever. It's not necessary that they have to do it there and then where they are standing or in the Masjid al-Haram. Rather, they can go to their hotel in their room, and then they can cut their hair over there. Second thing is about the slaughter. Some people are confused. Many have in fact asked that is it the slaughter which is done, is it the slaughter of the Eid, or is it the Hajj, or there has to be a separate one, or what? This slaughter is called Hadi. This is an offering. This is a sacrifice, a ritual sacrifice. This is done as a compensation for the fact that you exit the ihram between the Umrah and the Hajj. Okay, this is why the one who performs the Qiran does not perform the Ifrad, does not offer. The Qiran, the Qarin does that because he combined the manasik into one niyyah. So anything that is done a little unusual, then that's where. So the one who performs the Qiran offers a hadi, and the one who performs Tamattu offers a hadi. But the one who does Ifrad doesn't have to offer the hadi unless he wants to do a nafil one. This has nothing to do with Udhiyah, which is the sacrifice of the Eid al-Adha. If one wants to do that, of course he can do that over there. However, then he will have to follow the rules. And the thin line here and the critical point here is that if a person, when he is doing the Tamattu Hajj, he exits the ihram after the Umrah, then he trims his hair. Other than that, he is not allowed to take any hair or nail from his body, because he is going to offer an udhiyah for the Eid al-Adha. And this is proven from the narrations from Salama radiyallahu anha, that she said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that anyone who will witness the moon of the Dhul Hijjah, and he intends to offer a sacrifice, which means the udhiyah on the Yawm al-Nahar, then he should not take anything from his hair or nail, from his jild. So that's why he would need to. So often people intend to do that, but they will, exit the haram, and then they will be shaving their beards and, do whatnot. And this is not permissible. But as I said, that it is not required of a Hajj that he offers the udhiyah as well. If he wants, he can do that. Secondly, there is no sacrifice, there is no sound basis for offering a sacrifice in the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or anyone else. Some people would even give money to someone who is going to Hajj, that offer a sacrifice on my behalf. There's no need for that. You can do that where you are, and that's preferable, that you do with your own hand, or you witness your sacrifice where you are, rather than sending the money with someone to do over there. There's no special thing about that. So inshallah, these are the two things which I wanted to mention. But this is a very lengthy subject about the hadi and the udhiyah. All the rules that surrounds this are very lengthy and complex at time. This is something that one should ask when one is in need over there. If there is any new situation occur, then you should ask someone who knows. So inshallah, we go further. So having done this exit, now the next thing one is to go to Masjid al-Haram for doing what? Tawaf al-Ifada. Okay, Tawaf al-Ifada and Sa'i. This is what one does. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did that. He did the Jarami of Jamrat al-Aqaba, returned to the Manhar, which is the slaughterhouse where he slaughtered in Mina he slaughtered the camels, and after doing that, then he called the Halaq, the barber, had his hair shaved, and then he left for Masjid al-Haram. He went there and did the tawaf and the sa'i of the ziyara or al-ifada. This is same as what we described earlier, except that in the tawaf you do neither the ramal nor iltiba. Both the things are only for the tawaf al-qudum, the arrival tawaf. They are not done in this. Once a person performs the tawaf al-ifada and sa'i, then he exits all the prohibition of ihram. The preferred time for this tawaf al-ifada is after the rami and the slaughter and the shaving of the head on the day of sacrifice. But the hadith of Jabir radiyallahu anhu, he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did the tawaf al-ifada and sa'i, and then he returned to Mina and prayed Salatul Duhar he said that he prayed Salatul Duhar in Makkah. While the hadith of Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu states that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam returned to Mina and prayed Salatul Duhar in Mina. But both the narrations indicate that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did the tawaf and the sa'i of ifada at quite an early time, before the midday. Its permitted time starts from the middle of the night of Yawm al-Nahar, which is the night when you stayed in Muzdalifah. So from after the Nisf al-Layl, after the midnight, you can go and do the Jarami of Jamrat al-Aqaba, and then go and do the Tawaf al-Ifada. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered to Salama radiyallahu anha, and she went and did this, so that the women and children were sent earlier, so that they escaped the crowd. So they went and did the Rami of Jamrat al-Aqaba, and then they went to Masjid al-Haram and did the Tawaf al-Ifada and Sa'i also at a very early time. And as I said, that once all this is done, then you exit the ihram completely, and everything becomes permissible which was prohibited in the state of ihram. Once you finish that, then you return to Mina. And you return to Mina for what? You return to Mina to stay there for 2 nights which is from the wajibat, from obligation of the Hajj, that you stay in. This is the the nights of Ayam al-Tashriq, the 11th and the 12th. The 13th is of course optional. If one wants to remain there for another night, they can. Two things are obligatory there. One is staying the night in Mina. This is an obligation. Second is doing the Rami of all three Jamarat during the day. This is the second obligation. So two obligations are observed in this. So so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went back the day finished. He stayed the night over there, and this is the night of 11th of Dhul Hijjah. Next day is the 11th of Dhul Hijjah, and this is the Yawm al-Tashriq number 1, the first Yawm al-Tashriq. This is the day you wait until the sun rises and it reaches its zenith and then declines. When the zawal occurs, like what you would see now, that it passes the midline, then you go for Rami of Jamarat. Okay, this Rami is done after the Zawal. Very important. This is obligatory. If anyone does Rami before the Zawal, then his Rami is invalid. Okay, let's see the Rami of the Jamarat on Ayam al-Tashriq. Again, we have the three Jamarat there and the direction. The basis of this Rami is the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha that was reported in Abu Dawud, that she said, يَرْمَ الْجَمْرَةَ إِذَا زَالَتِ الشَّمْسِ كُلَّ جَمْرَةٍ بِسَبْعٍ حَسَيَاتٍ يُكَبِّرْ مَعَ كُلِّ حَسَاءٍ وَيَقِفْ عِنْدَ الْأُولَى وَالثَّانِيَةِ فَيُطِيلُ الْقِيَامَ وَيَتَذَرَّعَ وَيَرْمِي الثَّالِثَةَ وَلَا يَقِفْ عِنْدَهَا. That the Prophet ﷺ, he did the Rami of the Jamara after the Zawal of the sun. Every Jamara he did with the 7 stones, saying Takbir on each of them. He stood after the first and the Yaqif عند الأولى والثانية. فَيُطِيلُ الْقِيَامِ, long standing, meaning he did the Rami of the first one, then moved a little bit further and stood there. For what? وَيَتَذَرَّعَ, then he humbling down to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making the dua. So he faced the Qibla and made the dua, long dua he made over there. Then he went to the second one, did the Rami, then moved further on and did the same thing, standing there facing the Qibla, making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Third one he did, وَلَا يَقِفْ عِنْدَهَا, and then he did not stand there, rather he left straight away. So this is the basis of why the Rami is done in this order and in this manner. Now we'll see what manner and what order this is done. As I said, two things are obligatory in this Rami. One is the direction, tartib. You start from the small one, go to the larger one. So start from the Jamratul Ula, then the Wusta, then Aqaba. If you come from the wrong direction, then this would be an invalid Rami. You will have to repeat that. So it is very important that you start from the right end. Second is that this Rami must be done after the Zawal occurs. Okay, the day appears, the sun rises, it reaches the zenith and declines from the midline, and this is the Zawal, and then the time of, which means that you pray Salatul Duhar and then you go for Rami, rather than going earlier, because it would be invalid and one have to repeat that. So you enter the Jamrat bridge from there in front of the Jamratul Ula, and you do the first Rami, throwing the 7 stones, saying the Takbir on each one of them. Once you finish that, then you move further on between the two, stand there facing towards the Qibla and making the dua, long dua. Then you go to the next one, do the Rami there, same thing. Then you move forward and you do the dua again. 7 pebbles, of course, the second one also. I just made it quicker so that we don't waste too much time on that. Then you move to the third one and do the same thing. Once you have done this, then you don't stay there, rather you leave straight away. Okay. the time for this Rami continues through the day and even